live. We're happening. Everything is going on. Welcome. Look at that beautiful smile. We have with us Wendy Bonbons is here. I'm pouring myself a drink. It's pretty bad that in 2 weeks I've gone through 2 bottles of this, or started 2 bottles of this. As again, it's the Madison Park. I was out of it. I had to use a different kind of gin last week. So there we are. Welcome, Wendy. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And how are you, Love Doctor?
I am lovely. You mentioned that you're having a surprisingly good day. Just a bunch of random good things were happening. Is that, or do we not want to talk about that on air? Or
I had gotten some requests to participate in my show, my Sunday show, the Cosmic Show, that I'm really excited about. It's always really nice when you hear from artists that you've been, looking up to for a while, and I got some of those really nice messages today, so I'm really excited.
And I just realized I should probably put some mix in before I sit back on the drink. I got this in the mail as well.
Ooh,
so,
nice.
The Love Doctor mug has arrived. Available at your Teespring store if anyone is interested. This is Canada Day, so this is your day, your people's day. Welcome. Denis Leger is dropping in to say hello, cool cats, and of course he has a cool cat for his avatar. Welcome, Denis. Welcome, everybody. I see that we got a bunch of people there. Just say cheers. Cheers to you all. Have a sip and put your names into the comments to let us know that you're all here. Oh, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking an Earl Grey. So I'm not joining you in the liquor this evening, but still there in spirit.
But I'm actually joining you with the Earl Grey. There's Earl Grey in this gin.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's a Montreal. You know what? They don't sponsor me, but I'm going to mention them anyways. By the way, if anyone wants to sponsor me, I could probably do this if you have a good gin. I wouldn't recommend a bad gin, but it's 1769 Distillery in Montreal. They make that's Madison Park. I do prefer their breakfast gin, which contains Earl Grey. So it looks almost like a Scotch if you see the coloring.
Oh, nice.
But it's actually gin, so it's great. There we are. Hello, Christopher. Hello. But there's a sláinte to you as well. So cheers. I shouldn't be drinking this fast, this quick. Oh, I'm all set. As you know what, this has been sort of a day of celebration. Things are loosening up around. There's still no word exactly yet on the Wiggle Room when the Wiggle Room is opening up. So when we have word, this show will move to another night, and it looks like it might be a Sunday night that we'll be doing. No, we can't do it on a Sunday night because that's the Cosmic Bonbon show. So we might have to move it to like a Monday night or some such, just so we can make sure there's no conflicts there. It's these are the things you got to think about.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
There is personally, I don't think I could compete with you. You've got a full-on variety show happening. That's fantastic. Well, welcome, Christopher. I imagine Bashak is with you as well. So hello, Bashak. I see that we've got a number of people watching. Denny is here. We have the questions are all set up. Is there what have you thought about? Has there been any positive news this week that you've jumped onto, Wendy?
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there. Any positive what?
News? Anything that in the world that seems to be happier? And Bashak is saying that she's here. I'm still not pronouncing her name properly, I'm pretty sure, but it's I'm close. I think I'm close.
I'm sure you'll get there. I had a bit of interesting good news this week. Another fellow artist in Montreal. Now, I also have some trouble with the names occasionally, so I apologize if I'm not pronouncing this right, but I believe I am. Camilla. They have performed on my show, The Cosmic Show, and they just released an album, and that's really cool. I believe it is their first album, and I find when you hear about people getting into their passions for the first time and really diving into it, it kind of ignites a spark in you. So that's kind of the good news that I had this week that got me going.
There's actually an Irish film that sort of epitomizes that for me is The Commitments. If anyone has never seen the movie The Commitments, and if you're, if this show is over and you're looking for something entertaining, it's an Alan Parker film. It was based on Roddy Doyle's book. It is one of the most perfect things. But Shaq says, I'm perfecting the accent. Not the accent, the pronunciations. Thanking me for the effort. That's weird because you're pronouncing better than most people do. So many times it's pretty bang on. It's surprising. It's my tongue doesn't always work the way I always want it to. But yeah, no, the idea of seeing an artist grow their first steps, and I think that's part of the philosophy of Vaudeville, is the fact that it is about the growth of the artists, of new artists, stepping out and the chance to experience them and giving them a loving crowd. I think that's kind of important. And you're doing the same thing with your Cosmic Bombshell show, which I think is fantastic.
Well, thank you. Your show itself is really inspiring. So it's just a circle. It's just, a love circle, love performance circle.
All right. Before anyone calls it a daisy chain, let's move to one of the questions. Let's see. Just pull that up. That is. I'm just gonna see if I can make that larger so I can read it. Maybe I should put it upside right. That might help. Dear love doctor, my friend's ex-wife wants to have sex with me. Thoughts? By the way, I'm a guy. Tee. I've never really seen a guy go tee. I'm a guy. Wee. I'm not sure if that takes away from the masculinity of what's written. It might take away from the toxic masculinity. Here's the thing. If it all comes down to you, that the ex-wife is an ex-wife, so she still has a relationship with your friend. To a degree, if they have any children, of course they're going to have a relationship because it is balanced over the children. It all comes down to your relationship with your friend. If you think that they are going to be upset. Now, the other thing is they have no right to be upset because they're being possessive over an ex-lover is crap. Being possessive over anyone is fucking crap. But at the same time, it's the decision for you and how you think it's going to affect your relationship with both parties involved. And the thing is, you're okay in telling your friend if he is angry or jealous that you slept with his ex-wife that he's wrong, but it may affect that friendship, and that is the only concern I have there. So what are your thoughts on that, Wendy?
For me personally, I know I think that if you have an ex, usually that person is living their own life, and who they want to sleep with is kind of up to them. And I agree with your point on making sure that where you stand in your friendship, that's kind of what you want to pay attention and be mindful of too. Because all friendships are different. Some people have that dynamic where they are really comfortable and really liberal with their past partners. It doesn't really faze them. But some people are a little bit more private with certain things. There may be certain conversations that might make that process, if you happen to sleep with this person's ex-wife, make that process a little less traumatic for people who are involved when it doesn't need to be.
And there's also the point that it might actually be it might be sort of a revenge thing on the behalf. Like, I don't know the people in the entire situation, but it might be the ex-wife wants to sort of rub the nose of her ex-husband in the fact that, look, I'm sleeping with your best friend, or you're with your friend. So you have to try to think what other people's motivations are as well, and try to be the best you that you can be in that situation. Again, you have your own desires, and it's perfectly okay for you to act on your desires. If anyone has any questions, they can just mention them at the bottom, or type them into the group chat as is directed at the bottom. And we do have one that has come in through. Is that an older one here? I'm not sure. Please, all right? This might be an older one? Dear Love Doctor, is it wrong to break quarantine to do a Tinder hookup? Yes, it is. it is a little bit. I think that's a little bit bad. Has that one been answered before? That sounds familiar.
I think it has been answered before, but I think it's always relevant. I think the quarantine thirst is very real right now, and people could use a friendly reminder.
Exactly. I actually, what was it? I think last week we coined the phrase "COVID thirst," and it's for all the things you're missing over this quarantine or lockdown situation. There is another one here. I saw it earlier. Where did it go? Uh, there is. This is a fresh one. Here it is. Dear Love Doctor, who answers Love Doctor's questions on love, sex, and relationships. There are some people like Whitney that I will discuss and I trust. That's why she's here. We had Miss Meow last week. Uh, a lot of the times, I try to examine the motivations behind everybody who's involved in the question, such as with that the ex-wife, the friend, and not only those people's motivations, but your own motivations, because sometimes you want to look objectively at why you want to do something. Somebody recently came to me privately, not through the Love Doctor, to say, "Oh, we got a comment in here, covetousness instead of covetousness, covetous, covetousness." There it is. I need another drink if I'm going to pronounce that these days. And the thing is, it's sometimes I need to examine my own motivations. Somebody came to me with a situation that they had a friend who had asked them for advice, and they had a friend with benefits who had caught the feelings, and so they cut them off, and then tried to be friends with them again, and then because they were somebody that they had a past physical relationship with. Oh, okay, well now we can go back to having a physical because we stated it, we broke it off, and but the thing is, it's I felt because the other person in this the friend with benefit who caught the feelings still had the feelings. They were lying about having the feelings, and they were getting back into the friends with benefits situation. And I think the other person realized it, but they derived pleasure from having that attention. And I thought they were being selfish, even though they were giving lip service to all the things that were right. I don't think they were acting right. And Denis Leger is saying that he's giving us tongue twisters. He's trying to get me in trouble, is what he is. Hmm. There is, thou shalt not COVID thy neighbor's wife. Please, yes, do whatever you can to stop the spread of COVID. This is a very biblical episode. What would be your suggestion in that situation when you're talking about like a friend with benefits who caught the feelings, and how would you react if that happened with you?
If I had a friend with benefits and they caught the feelings, they caught the feels.
Not cop the feel, but caught the feels. It's different things.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I feel like being as transparent with your feelings as you can is always the best way to go. So if I was hypothetically in a situation where somebody had caught the feels for me, and I noticed it, I think though, even though it's a hard conversation to have about it and how you're feeling, parallel or in contrast to how they are, I think that's an important conversation to have. And I have personally had to have those difficult conversations before, and they're not always nice. But in the long run, it's always better for everybody involved. So then if you do need to have a period of hurt and where you take some space and you process anything that's happened, you can do that. And you're not dragged along on this journey of a game.
Exactly. You need to. I think a measure of yourself as a person is also how much you're willing to sacrifice. I mean, as much as if you were a person that they had caught the feelings with, if you, though you received enjoyment from the relationship, knowingly hurting another person is still knowingly hurting another person, and I think that is an unkind thing to do. And I think your take on the situation is beautiful as well. So it's just reinforcing each other on this one. That's we got a huge love in on that. We got some more cards to come, and we got. I'm not sure. This is what is this translated from? I got a question here from Owale Entingelo. Uh, I'm sorry. I know it came in on the anonymous line, but it was in a language that wasn't English, and Google Translate has said, "I've learned the lesson from Superbike Salvation." That is, I don't know if I've just been spammed. I've been spammed in the private secret questions here on the Love Doctor. Well, Superbike Salvation. I guess if you're gonna ride, I guess if you're. I'm not sure. It's a stairway to heaven. It's kind of hard to take a bike up to if that's the salvation you're looking for. But I just say, and you don't want to ride your bike on the highway. There's nice kind of musical takes, both of those. We got Victoria Blair. Is maybe this question was already asked, but can men and women be friends? Asking to settle an argument. Yes, they can. It's not saying that there can't be attraction between friends, but it's the idea of acting on it and respecting boundaries of a relationship. But people can be friends as long as you are respecting one another. And there's not necessarily has to be some kind of a sexual or emotional well, a friendship is an emotional connection between two people of different genders. And that goes to say, first off, men and women are not the only genders. I'll state that. And people of different orientations can feel different things. But thank you very much for asking that question, Victoria. I hope that works out. And thank you. I think she just won the bet. It's a lot of the times people. There's a lot of societal programming that sort of trains people to look at people of the opposite gender or the gender that they're attracted to as targets. And I don't think that is a good thing. And we see it very often in everything from romantic comedies to sitcoms to dramas, that people do not interact with other people regardless of gender in a neutral way, which I think is something that we need to work upon as a society, because then there's no examples for people to learn from. So artists, get on that. Wendy, your thoughts?
I think overall, yes, men and women can be friends. I have witnessed quite a lot of successful relationships between men and women throughout the years, and I myself have had a lot of successful relationships with men throughout the years, and they have just been strictly friendships. And I do think that there are periods of time, like quarantine, when you might find yourself in situations that you might view somebody a little bit differently. You might notice things you never noticed before, but I think ultimately the respect you have for somebody is the respect you have from somebody. If you value them as a friend, if you respect them as a friend, ultimately that's going to be your outlook on them. That's going to be your view, and that's how your relation will move forward. But I do think, with regards to what you said about sometimes people can be almost trained or can be viewing others as targets, people that they're interested in of the opposite sex, or even just in general. I think it's really important to be mindful of your motivation in any situation and how you're interacting with people. And it's okay to notice that if you are doing something that you would like to change, that's okay to change your behaviors, and it's okay to notice something that you can grow with. But you just have to make sure that you take the time to do that.
There was a comment that I recently read. I'm gonna have to paraphrase because I don't think I can remember it exactly, and I can't remember who the quote is from. Being anti-racist doesn't mean that you're not racist yourself. Just you recognize that fault within yourself and you are working to fix it. And the same thing comes with how you would react to people and how you treat people in general, not just by race but by gender, by orientation and everything. We just ended Pride Month, basically what's universally known as Pride Month around the world, and I'm sad I don't think I've actually addressed it yet, but Pride is a very important thing, and I think just recognizing people for who they are, not just what angry bits they have on their bodies, but by the person, the soul underneath is important. And John Smith asked me if I've learned Superbike salvation, and I think that in itself it is. That's Superbike salvation, is understanding that a person is not just the meat around them, but is their body and soul. And it's okay to be attracted to a friend. Just choosing not to act on it is its own brilliance. And I have not heard the rumor that Kenny G causes erectile dysfunction. But Liam, just keep that tinfoil on, that tinfoil hat on. I think it's very much helping you. So it's just that all, what is it, an alto sax is what he plays, an alto sax. Kenny G's. Gee, he's out there. All right. We're sorry, that was bad. I was really bad. We're going to go to another question. I don't see any new ones coming in on the anonymous feed. We'll go to another question card. Let's see. This is weird because there's actually a delay between when I move my hand to grab the card and it actually appearing on screen. So it's freaking me out a little bit. It's almost like I'm on mushrooms. Dear Love Doctor, what is necessary the most in pleasing a woman, foreplay or outright passionate kissing? All right, I'll let you take this one first, and then I'm gonna rant for a little bit. Or do you want me to rant?
I think what's important depends on the woman. Personally, I think each woman is different in what they like. Some women don't like kissing at all. Some women don't like foreplay at all. Some women love it. I think taking the time to get to know each individual partner is worth your while, because that in itself is a whole other side of the sexual encounter that can be really enjoyable. So taking the time to maybe ask this specific question to the person that you're hoping to have that encounter with is a good place to start if you were already on that conversation level.
Exactly. It's also that's the beauty of new relationships, is exploring to see what your partner likes. And the thing is, they're asking specifically about women, but this applies to all genders. Different people are different. That's the beauty of it all. Some like, as you said, some like foreplay, some like kissing, some like neither. And that is all okay. So just please, like, take the time to learn, not just from what your partner says, but also take the physical cues. If they tense up when you're attempting foreplay, or if they're kind of turn away from your kissing, it might also be that you're just a shitty kisser. So you don't kiss them the way. So communication is definitely important with your partner. And Christopher has mentioned that they've got the whole family watching, and so it's a very family friendly show. And we do try to be as family friendly as possible. I can't spoil that. There's something that it's a job that I'm actually applying for, and I'll have to say what that is if I actually get it, because there's a chance I won't get it. What? What? I can almost read that. That's almost big enough that I can read. Let me just bring that up. Dear Love Doctor, do you like pie? Yes. Do you be pie, or do you like? I think that's like. Do you like pie? I think the eye is a little. Can I make the eye appear? No, it doesn't. I'm gonna just look at that in real life. Yeah, no, the eye is there. Do you like pie? Of course I like pie. I'm a fat man. What about this face and body? This level of sweat on an evening, because I can't have an air conditioner running with the microphone and all these hot lights on my face, makes you think that I don't like pie. Pie is delicious. All the types of pie, and you can take that however you wish to. Yes, pie. Wendy should. Now I want pie.
I am a pie fan. I had lemon meringue pie today. I am quite a big pie fan.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I haven't had lemon meringue or key lime or blueberry pie. A good blueberry pie with just like a hint of lemon in it for tartness. Perfect. I had a rhubarb with vanilla. and that I've had in the past couple of weeks, and that
That sounds lovely. You know, I do love a good rhubarb wine, so I can imagine the rhubarb pie would be amazing.
and actually the ingredients, actually the filling actually came from making a rhubarb vanilla syrup to add to gin.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it's
Mm.
it's good. Now, unless of course the person might have been thinking that they're going to be clever and make it a sex joke, and that I'm automatically assuming what kind of pie it is. Uh, but fat man face. Uh, there is. There we are. I hope that Christopher is family friendly enough for everybody. Welcome. There's some. I see some new viewers have popped in. Please just drop a comment in there if you have a question. Drop it in the question box. And if you're embarrassed about leaving a question where everyone can see that you asked it, then you can ask it in the anonymous question. Go to the Love Doctor fan page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/LD1969. So that's L as in Lake Lima, David 1969, or Love Doctor 1969. And you can ask the question anonymously there, and we'll answer it here together. Dear Love Doctor, I can't quite make that out. We've got just this popped up. Chris's family, Candace has said Chris's family can handle anything. And my kids are all mid to late teens. Good to see healthy attitudes towards sex and sexuality. Thank you. Thank you all for the entire Murtaugh clan. And that is, I think a lot of that is how we're brought up. I was brought up in a very religious household. There was a time that I was going to become a priest, actually. And that's that's no lie or joke whatsoever.
Wow.
I'm the youngest son in an Irish family. I'm supposed to have been given back to the church. Just basically the church says, well, no birth control. You've got to have the kids. And then so Irish people say, well, you've got to take one back. That's the way it has always worked. Is it possible for a woman to be immediately ready for intercourse like you see in the movies? I don't know about immediate. I think it's definitely just like men. Women can be in the mood, and that can happen. And sometimes getting to the deed quickly is its own pleasure. But I should let Wendy take that one, because she's got the user manual. I do not.
Well, I think maybe my answer may be a little less sexy than they're hoping for. But I think that honestly, how ready your body is for intercourse kind of depends a lot on your just general, besides how your body reacts to foreplay. You know, some people have more natural lubricants going on all the time than others. Certain times of the month, your body will be doing different things than others. Certain factors like that will definitely come into play on how comfortable it is to have immediate intercourse. But overall, it is very important to make sure that certain muscles are warmed up to have a little bit more flexibility in whatever you're doing. Whether that be,
you don't want to pull something there. No.
Yeah, no, of course, you know, whether that be whether you're working out or whether you're going to have sex. So I think it's really important, again, to just know your partner, because some people that may be painful for them, that may not be something that they enjoy. They may not have ever experienced it before, but other people, maybe it's completely their turn on.
The question is, yeah, the question was, is it possible? And it is possible for some people, is basically the answer. You got to also remember the greatest sex organ in the entire human body is between the ears. And when the brain tells the body to get ready, you don't necessarily have to be naked yet. And Liam Murtaugh, as I'm convinced that the Irish are rabbit human hybrids. Just maybe a touch of the faith folk in there. And Christopher Murtaugh, what I can give one back to the church. Shouldn't have given up my Catholic card. Well, there you go. You've learned, Christopher. That's the way the church had worked for centuries. Not that it was always great, but it was self-propagating. And that was the question that we just asked. Let me just take a look here for the next one. Look at that.
Ooh.
We've got. This is something I miss. These cards, by the way, for those of you who are wondering how could you get these cards and send them in to me, these cards are I just grab a handful from the vault of cards that have been collected from over 6 years of being the Love Doctor for Vaudeville and other locations. So look at this. Somebody has actually sent in, wrote down some beautiful artwork in there with some pasties. Are those Love Doctor Clovers there for the pasties? It's a little. Do you remember me? I remember artwork. That's what I remember. I remember that I have a number of these cards sprinkled in there that says amazing artwork, and I'm always amazed at the talent of the people and how giving they are when they are in Montreal at the Vaudeville Variety Show. So hopefully, when things are safe and we can open again, I know that the government has said that places can open with a 50 person capacity as long as social distancing and no dancing happens. And I think that sort of makes it impossible for the Wiggle Room to be open without any dancing and with no, 2 meters between. As you can see, those little tiny tables, it's hard to get 2 meters between people. But I definitely, my memory's bad, but I always remember getting beautiful artwork like that. What was your thoughts on the nice little I don't know, I don't think we can call it a doodle, but a cartoon or uh, artwork. Let's call it artwork.
I think it's quite lovely. I am not very artistic myself in terms of drawing, so I think it's nice somebody took the time to draw you a little something.
And I agree. I very much appreciate that. The arts and crafts versions of Love Doctor cards have always been I've generally enjoyed. All right, this one is actually a question. Here we go. Daniel Leger has another statement. Is he misses rubbing himself against people's legs? I think his cat has taken over his keyboard. I'm hoping that's the case, because you should never rub yourself against anyone's legs without permission. Express permission. Please, yes, make sure you. All right, that's just a little weird. There's what's sexier on a date, wearing a lacy see-through online black bra or a black push-up bra? Wendy, I'll give that one to you first. Cat humor has been called.
I personally myself enjoy a little bit of see-through, especially something with lace. But I do think it depends on how you feel in it and who you're showing it to and what they like. Sometimes you might feel really good in a push-up bra. Sometimes you might want that little extra oomph, and that might be making you feel extra sexy. And then that'll transpire into what you're doing.
Exactly. Again, it is the how you dress, how that affects your attitude. Also, different people have different body types, and different body types can be affected differently by fashion. So fitting what is right for you, and not. I'm not saying that only certain people should show their bodies or whatever. What you feel comfortable in is key, and I think it's the mental attitude. It can sell either, and how you wish to sort of be approaching your partner. That is also very boob specific for that person, which is great if you're dating somebody. I take a little umbrage with the people who say, well, I'm a boob person, or I'm a butt person, or I'm a leg person, or I'm an abs person. You're not dating a piece of meat. There's a soul inside of all of that. And that should be attractive to you as well. I mean, nice packaging definitely sells a product, but please don't base yourself solely on that, because the bodies do change as you age. I mean, yeah, I should have another drink. Wendy, do you have anything to add to what I just rambled?
I think it's good to be dental. I like good dental hygiene person. That's something I find very attractive about people. And although I might not look at the body types, I will definitely notice dental hygiene. If someone smiles.
Exactly, and I'll be keeping my teeth covered for the rest of the night. But we're just friends, so it's all good. There's, I'm definitely not her type in many different ways. So we have another question here. Dear Love Doctor, is that French? And I don't. Okay, je voudrais avoir une nouvelle idée pour une special super blowjob move. Uh,
Ooh.
I would want a new idea for a super special blowjob move. I all right. Maybe it's because of my age at this point. I don't think there's anything new. I don't know if there's any. Like, there's the pepper grinder, which is great if you got the two hands. Just concentrating on the frenulum. For those who can, who are sword swallowers, a deep throat, has a very encompassing feel. But again, it's passion. Some people like eye contact. Some people don't like eye contact. Again, it's looking towards your partner. The pepper grinder. I just realized that I don't have a great framing to do that. I also like the fact that I don't know what people are thinking. Like look how wide I have my hand.
I
That sounds
noticed.
like I'm
I noticed.
bragging. I'm bragging at that point. Whoever I gave a blow to must have had a huge cock. I there's
I was just
sorry.
picturing the pepper grinders at the restaurant, the big, really long ones.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
all.
Too. It's and on the head, on the yeah, exactly. It's also there's differences that come in whether or not somebody is circumcised or uncircumcised. Uh, there's a lot going to it. Some people like teeth, and I call them rare. Some people don't like teeth. I call them most. There is different people. Different people like different things, and that is all good. We've got our first comment coming in from Australia. Jessica Sorrell with her cat as well. I believe the cat's name is RJ. Jessica, you can correct me on that one. And you just missed some cat humor from Denny Leger. Yes,
Oh,
Jessica
thank
is following
you.
you on Instagram. And for those who want to follow Wendy on Instagram, where'd it go? I know it's here somewhere. It's cosmic.bonbons. It's with an S at the end. So please follow her. She does an amazing show every Sunday night. Um, it's a variety show from her bedroom. That's how you sold it once, I believe.
It's a very intimate night from my bedroom, yes.
All right. We are going to move on to, I guess, to the next question. If anyone in the audience has a question, please write them in. We will get to them as quickly as possible. I'm trying to keep an eye. Also, this is why, oh, geez, I'm looking so sweaty. This is not the, you know what? If I die of a heart attack tonight, I don't feel like I should be having a heart attack. I don't feel that bad. But just got confirmation. The cat's name is RJ. So if you want to give RJ a shout out, you can always mention it in the comments. If people are enjoying the show, you can share the show. You can also make sure that you subscribe down there to the bottom right. Ring the bell if you're watching on YouTube. We'll move on to the next question until somebody sends a good question in. A good question in. Oh, look at that! We get some more artwork. Maybe not as detailed, but does this look normal? It looks uncircumcised, which for a lot of people is normal. Not for everybody then. And Denny Leger sees that and goes, meow, RJ. So we get, sorry, that might have been for RJ, not for the penis picture. So we have that has come up again. Little doodles that come in and sort of brighten the day on that one. It's actually just sorry. I'm just going to put that back up there. It looks like it's wearing a necklace. It's weird. Like whoever did the manscaping there decided to like clean the balls fairly nice and tidy, but they left like a. This is a very religious show because I'm thinking of Friar Tuck and the old monk's fringe that's that would be stuck around. Like I feel like that monk's fringe is what was done to the pubic hair of that penis. I'm not sure. Christopher, if you want to correct me with your Catholic knowledge, you might be able to help out. Here we go. We're going to move on to another question. Christopher's being called out for his religious knowledge at this point. And I can't, I'm going to just make that a little larger so we can see it. Is how does a male, gay, bi, or straight fake an orgasm? All right. I'm going to ask first off, Wendy, do you think a man can fake an orgasm?
I think they can try. I think it kind of depends on how in tune you are with your partner. I have heard a lovely story from a Montreal comedian regarding his time he tried to fake orgasm. So I do know there are people out there who do try. Whether or not it's as successful as when a female, but I think they could. It's possible for them
It's
to
not
try.
always successful when a female does it. First off,
No.
I want to state this: if you are faking orgasms, you're teaching people that that's good enough. Right? You're not. You basically you should only ever fake an orgasm if you never intend to have sex with that person again. And that's it. I have personally faked orgasms. If you're wearing a condom, I've actually had orgasms that are dry, which can possibly happen as well. So faking an orgasm, it can happen. You can do it. It is difficult, and but I do not recommend it unless you don't intend to ever have sex with that person again, because then they'll wonder how come it was so easy to make you have an orgasm the last time. And that's the other thing, making you have an orgasm. Like you should never help a person have an orgasm, not make a person have an orgasm. But then again, that's the language. Christopher wants to mention that he's a recovering Catholic, not much of an expert anymore. I don't have the monk cut myself. It looks very itchy. You do. He has nicely coiffed hair, at least on his head. That's what I'm referring to. So yeah, I think it is possible. If different men, and depending on when it is, if for a man, like if they've already had one orgasm, having a second orgasm might be difficult, but it would also have a less volume of ejaculate. So it's easy to say that that's where it is. Sometimes you're with a partner who has a lot of lubricant, and so you say, "Well, no, of course, yeah, no, I came. Obviously, I came." Just you have to go through the little body tricks with that. So yes, was the question how easy or is it possible? Let me just. How does so basically, yeah, you have to do the little tricky body moves, and where what are we doing here? There, where's everybody going? Oh my goodness, it's we were in the Brady Bunch mode for a moment. There's there we are. So yes, it comes down to the ability to fake is also your ability to act, and it's not helpful to fake an orgasm.
No.
Except to get out the door. And I can understand the need at times. As I said, I have faked an orgasm in my past. Well, that was a bit of sharing.
Do I have a moment to add something in there?
Yeah, feel free.
I think it's really important to normalize communicating to your partner if you just can't orgasm at the time, especially with how stressed everyone is right now. It's very normal if you're having trouble.
Yes, and sometimes, well, edging is more of a thing these days. Sometimes when you've edged too long, then getting over that little cliff is a little too hard. And if you've been edging with your partner, and then it comes to the point that it feels like you should want to orgasm, but then you can't orgasm. You need to make sure to own up to that. And also, at the same time, they should not be making you feel bad if you cannot orgasm. You should never make your partner feel bad if they're having difficulty orgasming. And at the same time, you should not make your partner feel bad if you are having difficulty orgasming. That is, yeah, you don't need acrimony during possibly one of the greatest sharing sensations between human bodies that can possibly happen. Yeah. All right. Well, now I'm sorry. I'll be quiet, and I'm just talking quiet and low and all that. And so, feel free to add anything in. Anyone who's out there watching on that point of view. We'll bring up the next question. Oh, look at this! Somebody wrote a question and then changed their mind and wrote a different question. This is I'm not sure. Maybe I can say that this is an ASMR video if I just keep talking like this. just, I don't know. I'm not sure if people are enjoying the voice at this point. I think some people are just wondering if I've lost my mind. All right. You know what? I think the camera is a bit fuzzy. I might have touched it with the back of my knuckle. Which can you read that, Wendy? Can you make that out?
Which song to play to set in the mood?
All right. Again, this is a very personal choice thing, but this is actually something that as the Love Doctor we've addressed, and we asked people to send in their favorite getting down songs. And so on the YouTube channel that this can be watched on, so www.youtube.com/kickash comedy, that's ASH, not ASS, Kick Ash Comedy. There is the Love Doctor mood songs. So there's a collection of songs. If you want to suggest any songs, please do so. This is a common kind of question. Do you have what in mind? Do you When you look like you're chomping at the bit?
I'm so excited about that. I am very, very excited that you did that. That's so cool.
Personally, I think it should the playlist that's there, I think, should be longer. So please, if you want to send in any songs that I should add to that list, I don't know why I'm pouring myself another drink because that could be dangerous. But if you have any songs that you want to add to that list, we can definitely add to that list. Different people have different tastes. Some people like to make sure there's a good beat. Or there's deep forces. Some people like high energy. And there's also different songs for the different moments during love making. What's one of your go-to songs that you would like to on your playlist?
With Me by DVSN.
With Me by DVSN. All right, remind me, send me that as a message so I can make sure that gets added to the list. I think one of the things that I had for way too long that was always on my we'll call it my romance list playlist was always "Do You Love Me" by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. That was just, it has it's got a good beat to it, as well as having a nice romantic take on it. Denny Leger is stepping in again with "Dance Me to the End of Love" by Leonard Cohen. That's a brilliant one. I'll have to add that one to the list as well. Merci, Denny. I'm trying on the French. Did you see that? I actually answered a French question in English, but I read the question and I didn't have the translation handy.
I didn't want to call you out on it, but you did fantastic. It was so good.
I don't think it's calling me out if you actually are praising my.
I couldn't. Yeah, there we go. I didn't want to take the time away from you. That's what I'm getting at there.
All right, here we've got another anonymous question has come in. Dear Love Doctor, my partner wants to get his balls waxed, but my esthetician who does my lady parts doesn't feel comfortable because she's afraid to damage balls. Do you have any recommendations of where my partner can go? I've not checked out or checked the Yelp reviews for ball waxers in Montreal, but that does exist. So you can always Yelp and or call ahead of time. Don't go there and surprise them with the gifts. Don't unveil the boys saying, "I'd like to see them hairless." But understand that this is not an embarrassing question. If you're too embarrassed to ask the question of the esthetician over the phone, then maybe going to an esthetician to get it done isn't the thing for you. What's your thoughts on that?
I had never considered ball waxing. I feel like it's definitely, you definitely want to check out the reviews. I personally don't have any recommendations for St. John's, Newfoundland, or for Montreal, Quebec. But I can imagine something like that. You're going to want to make sure you check the reviews, and you can even take the time to call a few different places. I'm sure some people might have a different process. It's an intimate experience. You're going to want to know everything that's happening.
And I believe some will actually mention it in their ads. So you can check as well about whether or not they do intimate waxing and call to see if they'll do intimate waxing for men. And Peter Gabriel's Passion music for the Last Temptation of Christ is surprisingly good considering the subject. Yes, that might be something to add in. I don't know if I want to add the video onto the YouTube playlist though, because I'm not sure the video would really go with the rest of the mood in all those other mood songs that are present. There's damn it. Oh yes, there's all right. This is not really. It's not really a love making song, but there is. We're getting all the music recommendations coming because the night by Patti Smith. There's a lot of good music being suggested here. The Knack's My Sharona was Quentin Tarantino's first choice for Pulp Fiction because there's a scene that involves Ving Rhames' character being compromised. I don't think I can put it any more without trigger warnings. And he wanted to use that song, and the band refused him. And he was trying to convince them that he thought that it had a good beat for the rhythm of what was happening in the action. So for those of you familiar with what happened to Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction, listen to My Sharona in a completely different way now. Yeah. All right, there we have an awkward moment and a smile. Here we are. I hope that answered your question, there, anonymous person, about the ball waxing. And we're still having music suggestions coming in. I'll have to expand the playlist. Love Hurts. Oh, that's a Scottish band, not Irish. Don't ask me. Why do we all want to be in love? Hey, all right. What's your thoughts on that, Wendy? Why do we all want to be in love if love hurts?
I don't think humans are meant to be lonely wanderers. You know, we're meant for companionship in some way, shape, or form, whether that be in a tribe, in a group, whatever way that happens to come about. So I think we look for love to keep our existence going. It gives you purpose. It gives you it fulfills a lot of things for different people. But I think overall we're not meant to be solely alone for our entire life. We're meant to be together with people around us.
I would say that the love is an emotional and chemical connection that happens partially because of the genetic imperative to spread genes and make sure that people are together, but we're also social creatures, and that we need that connection, as Wendy has mentioned, and being with people we enjoy kind of makes the unbearable bearable, especially with what's happening in the world these days. We need to make sure that we are spreading the love, and that we're not ostracizing, that we're trying to show that Black Lives Matter. The entire idea that anyone who goes and tries to tell you, well, all lives matter. Well, yeah, of course, all lives do matter. But the society that we are living in right now has not been showing that Black Lives Matter. And so that is why Black Lives Matter needs to be said, because we need to have that reminder. We need to make sure that everyone is feeling the same validation and opportunities that everyone else has. And systemic racism exists, and we need to be conscious of that to help fight that, so we can have a better world for everybody. It's not just, we need love in the world. And yeah, it hurts sometimes to see how hurtful and painful the world can be, but having the love and support of the people around you is fantastic. And if you can spread that love and support to other people to make sure that the world grows. I feel like I'm rambling, but I do have a point. I think we need to work together to make the world a better place and fight the people who are selfish, who are trying to hoard everything for themselves, be it the billionaires, the trillionaires, the people who are not who only feel that they're successful because there's people lesser than them. Those are the people who have lost the true feeling of love. And I don't think it's a Grinch moment. We need to make their hearts grow, but I think we need to make sure that everyone is feeling loved, so we can elevate everybody together. So, I'm on a bit of a rant. I haven't had enough to drink to really say all that. But Wendy, do you have a comment?
No, I think the rant is definitely needed. Again, people need reminders sometimes, and you need to know you're supported. It's hard sometimes to look at your actions and think that you need to change. It's hard to acknowledge that sometimes, but it's important, and you can make small steps and you can make a difference. Even though you might feel like you're in the smallest part of the world, you can always make a difference with the people around you. And I think spreading love is the biggest difference that you can make, honestly. Just giving love to the people around you, unconditional love. And it is very important to keep educating yourself, to keep moving forward. And we're all learning. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be wrong sometimes, but it's good to be mindful and have awareness to keep moving forward. You can't let yourself stop just because you've made a mistake or because you're not where you want to be.
There is a polarization that's been happening for the past. It's always been happening, but it seems to be aggravated the past decade or decades at this point in time. And we can't say, oh, that person is just racist or that person is just an idiot, and then write them off. Because if we can't engage with them, if we can't show them how love is a powerful thing, then we cannot change how they view the world. And I do believe, as hard as it is, that we need to engage them in a positive way to let them see that hate is not a way. That hate is only leads to self-destruction, and that we need to share love together. And that's probably why they call me the love doctor. Um, not sure. I say things. I open my mouth, but I don't always know where I'm going to end up. But I'm kind of happy with that one. Well, do you have something to add to that before we pull over the next question? We've been at this
No,
for almost an hour.
I think what you said was said with heart, and I think it was perfect.
And there we are. And I'm not saying that heart came out of a bottle. We have another question here. It's a lot of words. Let's see if I can read that. It's fuzzy to me, but I would like to get food involved in sex, and I don't know what would be fun and or safe. I was inspired with condiments. Could you help me? I'm actually going to defer to Wendy on this. Her Instagram, it does involve a fair bit more food than mine does. And I don't want to yuck anyone else's yum, but it's not among my favorite things. So Wendy, would you care to take this question solo?
I would be thrilled. I do a bit of wet, messy performance myself, so I am very familiar with the safety aspects of getting food involved into your sexy time. It is, if you're getting anything involved in your more private areas, it's really important to keep in mind things that will cause infection. Anything high with sugars, stuff like that, you're going to want to try to avoid, because you don't want to be feeling the wrath of your fun for the next week or so. It's easy to start off small, if you want to incorporate. You can get different body chocolates and stuff like that are meant for intimate play. If you want to try going that route first, something that's a little bit more of the entry level, that's always fun. And it's really important to talk to the person that you're going to be playing with, because there are so many different ways to play with that. Some people like to play with food in a very messy sense. Some people like to keep things very neat. So how you want to incorporate that into your play is going to kind of vary on what you're doing and the person that you're doing it with.
The person who asked that question was specifically mentioned condiments. And I think possibly that might be because of the fact that they come in squeezable bottles with narrow openings. So it makes it easier to spell out words, etc. That was what went in my head as well. But I bow to your knowledge.
It's it's not an area. It's not something that a lot of people are really familiar with. How much you can integrate food into your play, but it's quite the journey, and there's a lot to look up if you're interested in that. Just like anything.
Exactly. And starting with your Instagram, I am so very glad that you mentioned that making sure cleaning afterwards is very important. It is. So thank you very much, Wendy, for your answer on that. I'm not going to even do attempt to answer. And oh, look at that!
That is very nice.
Let's just bring that up fully, and we just mentioned condiments go well on your hot dog. Uh, thank you for the visual, Denny. Yes, but I do recommend not boiling your hot dog beforehand, unless it's one that you're going to be eating in a bun later. Maybe that's not still a good. But there we go. That's actually a little bit of food play on its own way. It's the lollipops, which is I'm proud to say that I view that one as very tiny, but it seems to have got liquid on the inside. So there we go. That's amazing artwork. Sorry, that's very good. So if anyone likes the artwork, I'll just see if I can dig up more artwork cards for further shows. Christopher says he likes spicy food, but spicy food play sounds a lot less fun.
Well, actually,
I'll let you take this one.
there are certain things you can do in play to create different sensations with the food that you're interacting with. So for example, if you rub eggshells on your skin, it kind of irritates your skin, and then if you use sriracha or something like that on top of your skin afterwards, it can kind of have the same sensation as your butt feels when you're being spanked. It's kind of like that burning, and that can be very, very pleasurable for some people. So integrating spicy food, as long as you do it safely into your play, because obviously you don't want to get that in certain areas, can be a lot of fun.
Exactly. I remember there was a lot of talk when this is how old I am, when the Listerine mint strips first came out, the breath strips. The fact that they were moisture soluble, they did sort of create a sensation in certain areas. Thank you very much, Christopher. We've got we're over an hour at this point. Do you feel like taking a question or two more? Is that?
I have all the time in the world for you.
All right, so here we go with the next question that I have here. Is that written in red ink? These sunglasses make it so hard for me to see at times. What's the best way to detangle? I'm not. Okay, is that just blurry for me, or is that blurry for everybody?
Best way to detangle my beard from the beaver.
The beaver. All right. Gently. This is not like removing a Band-Aid. I don't recommend just pull, like I've had a beard. There's pictures of me with a beard. You want to be careful about the ripping of hair, because you don't want to get a bald spot in your beard, because that's present, and you also don't want to be pulling hair from somebody who's not quite expecting it, not in a fun way, at least. So yeah, that's the other thing. The curly beards, and it's not Velcro though. I don't think you have to worry about that. Wendy, do you have any thoughts on the subject?
No, you know what? I think you got that one covered.
Yeah, I first off, if you've done it right, your beard should be nice and wet, and everything should be nice and slippery. So there should be no concerns with it locking in place. So be careful, but have fun. We just, if you want to write something in, make sure again you're hitting subscribe down there. There's a little bell icon. We'll let you know about all the shows that happen on this channel if you're watching on YouTube. I do recommend that you do watch on YouTube, because I've just started. I got an email today. I don't know if it's pressure or they're trying to force me to do it or not. But Facebook wants me to create a paywall for these shows, and this show has always worked on donations. If you want to donate, I will be splitting it with my guest. My guest today being the fantastic Wendy Bonbons. You can donate to the show. For the past month and a bit, I've been saying donate to Black Lives Matter cause of your choice. And you can still do that instead. Donate in the memory of George Floyd. I'm very happy to see that done. But if you do want to support this channel, we appreciate it, because I know that both Wendy and I had our income affected by the current lockdown crisis. And she's currently all the way in St. John's, Newfoundland, which is it's a beautiful city. There's a nice, again, your Instagram. You had a video of a bald eagle that was being chased by seagulls. Apparently, it got too close to one of their nests or something. But to see seagulls going after like a bald eagle is like happy Canada Day. That's
It is. It's gorgeous here. The other day I went out for a stroll down by the beach, and I saw whales out on the way over to Belle Island. So, you know what? It's sad to be home and not in Montreal, but at the same time, it's also quite wonderful.
I was in Newfoundland in July on the north coast, and seeing icebergs coming down like at that time of year. It's nature's fucking impressive. There we are. So we've got one last question I think we're going to do. If anyone wants to add a comment in, thank you all for watching. Let's take a look at this question, which is, I'm not strategically blurring it out while it's in the small photo. Let's bring it up and see if it's a little bit better. When are you finally make a sweet love to me in the butt and Pikachu? All right. I've never wanted to make love to Pikachu before. I thought that would be kind of shocking. Just kind of show a little bit of geek cred when I say that. When are you finally gonna make sweet love to me in the butt? Well, you know what? I wish I knew who actually wrote that question now. But that could just be my COVID thirst that is speaking. Do you think we should take another question, or just leave it on this funny note, Wendy? What is your thing? What are your thoughts on the fact that occasionally the Love Doctor gets these sort of proposals anonymously? Like, look at this. There's not a phone number on the back. There's nothing to indicate like how to get a hold of Pikachu there, other than the fact that they've named themselves Pikachu. I don't actually remember. A lot of people come dressed up to the Wiggle Room when it's open, and I don't remember anyone ever being dressed as Pikachu, and not in the many Halloweens that were there. So I'm not sure which Pikachu that might have been. What are your thoughts on getting like anonymous proposals like that? Somebody is making a promise, but then they make it impossible to follow up on.
I think it's quite cheeky. I think as somebody who has attended your shows and heard the oohs and ahs over the wonderful advice that you're giving, and oohs and ahs not just coming from single people in the crowd, but also from couples, I can understand why people would want to pursue their attraction if they're at the show. So I think that is well deserved for you. You deserve that. There's something to be said when someone's very sexy while they have their mouth open and speaking. So
I personally prefer being sexy with my mouth filled with something else, but we'll leave that as is, and that is the end of this week's Love Doctor live stream. This has been the Love Doctor live stream is this number 15? This is number 15. Thank you very much, Wendy Bonbons, for coming online with us here. You've been amazing, and please follow Wendy on Instagram. Just if it's only just to check out the Cosmic Bonbon Show, the Cosmic Show that happens every Sunday night. But for any reason, she is amazing. We get some comments coming in. Denis Legier saying, "Good show, guys." And I love the fact that "guys" is now gender neutral. I think that is fitting. It's as somebody who's been a performer for a number of years, to say "ladies and gentlemen" I've been trying to remove that from my lexicon, to just say everyone, and There we go. Oh, and Bashak is saying, great to see you. Fun show. Oh, that's Candace O'Brien. I'm sorry, Candace. Thank you very much, Candace. It's great to see you as well. It's so glad for all of you to be here. If any of you care to donate to the show, I should probably tell people how to donate to the show. If you're on Facebook, you can there's a spread the love button on the Facebook page. If you're going to Facebook, you type in go to YouTube, sorry, go to YouTube, type in Kick Ash Comedy Show, and then YouTube will say, do you mean Kick Ass Comedy? And then you'll have to say to YouTube, no, I typed Kick Ash Comedy on fucking purpose, all one word, because that's what I wanted to go to. So don't tell me that I'm wrong in what I typed. Just type Kick Ash Comedy, go to that, and you'll see in the banner on top, it says something like Tag Amusements, but there's a little place that says Spread the Love. You can click on that and donate directly to PayPal via there, or you could check out, and I don't believe I just went into editing mode. There it is, teespring.com. There's merchandise available, and we've got another comment coming in. Wendy has a great smile. So Denny Legier is working on his pickup game on this, which I don't know if that cat understands everything that's happening here. And I'm just going to put up the PayPal.me. Actually, what is your PayPal as well, Wendy? Just so we can mention that, so people can donate directly to you if they choose to cut out the middleman on this one.
For sure. My PayPal is paypal.me/WendyBonbon.
And that is singular? It's not with an S?
With an S.
Okay, bonbon. Right, just the French pronunciation. I should understand that.
Learning. By now. I'm trying and learning. The effort has been put forth.
The effort is put forth. So that is paypal.me/WendyBonbon. Or paypal.me/ash183, because it's not as great or as singular a title as Wendy Bonbon. Wendy Bonbon, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for coming out. This has been the Love Doctor live stream. We return next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone who's tuned in. I love you all. And just if I can click the right buttons. There we are.